Meanwhile, back at the White House, West Wing, first cabinet meeting getting underway with General John Kelly as, well, in his new post. Meanwhile, Attorney General Jeff Sessions also in there. He's been taking aim at the leakers that have been plaguing the White House, and just last week telling Tucker Carlson that he's about to announce several criminal investigations.
I have not been happy with the past prosecutions and investigations of criminal leaks. We've already taken a number of steps. Tucker, we'll have multiple times. We'll have a press conference next week about it, but we already have multiples numbers of prosecutions compared to last year at this time. We're stepping up those cases. It cannot continue. Some people need to go to jail. If we can make cases, they are going to jail.
Well, Fox News senior judicial analyst Andrew Napolitano here on that. Nice to see you, Judge.
Thank you, Bill. Good to be with you.
So he's going to show a jump in the number of leak cases pursued so far compared to last year.
You know, he used a term of art when he said criminal leaks. If somebody in the West Wing of the White House releases information that the president doesn't want out there, but it's not classified, that's not good for the president, but that's not a crime. But if someone unmasks from raw intelligence data the identity of a person participating in a communication, whether it's telephone, email, or text messaging, and that is done for political purposes and not for national security purposes, that is a criminal leak. And I suggest to you that's what has troubled the president, and that's what the Attorney General was referring to.
Is that the first time he's talked like that, using those specific words?
It is the first time I have heard him say criminal leaks, because he knows that not all leaks are crimes. But the type of leaks that have bedeviled Donald Trump, that have commenced the entire mess that he's in now, including with the special prosecutor, began when Susan Rice and her colleagues, she's admitted to some of this, engaged in unmasking, revealing the true names of people who participated in conversations that were captured by American and British intelligence. And some of this was of Donald Trump before he was president.
Jeff Sessions seems to be safe for now.
I hope so.
Would you agree?
Yes. Well, I mean, I don't know what's in the president's mind, but I know that the tweets that were attacking Jeff Sessions have stopped. I also know that the president has gotten some very prudent advice from people whose advice he respects, that it would be better for everyone, including the 90,000 people that work for Attorney General Sessions in the Justice Department, if the Attorney General were just allowed to do his job.
Okay. Press conference this week. We'll wait for more information when that happens.
Yes.
In the meantime, there's the story surrounding this technology employee on Capitol Hill.
Yes.
Who worked for Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Apparently was going to board an airline and fly back to Pakistan, and he was arrested. Ron DeSantis is a congressman from Florida. Right. He is hot on this story. Earlier today, he said this about what's happening on that investigative front.
There's going to obviously be financial crimes here that will be prosecuted criminally. I think that's just window dressing. I think what was he doing with these money? He's got connections to a Hezbollah-linked character in Iraq. He's sending money to Pakistan. I think there's going to be more than just the financial crimes on its face. But in the House of Representatives, we have to investigate how our systems may have been compromised, and that will require putting people in the chair.
Well, see, he said a whole lot in that answer. Let's go ahead and back up a little bit and tell us where this story is now.
Well, the story, I got to tell you where this story started and how it got to where it is now. Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz, while she was a congresswoman from Florida and the chair of the Democratic National Committee, employed at government expense in her Washington office an IT specialist who, it turns out, was gathering information and selling it to foreign nationals and foreign intelligence services. This, of course, is a felony. As he was selling real estate in the United States and was attempting to flee to Pakistan, he was arrested for a failure to report these financial sales. What Congressman DeSantis is saying, the financial stuff is bad, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. What we really need to know is, how did this person damage the national security of the United States by selling information from the Wasserman Schultz emails to foreign nationals, and what did he sell? And then, and this is very intriguing, Bill, what did the former chair of the Democratic National Committee and Congresswoman from Florida know, if anything, about him and about it?
Well, the FBI would be charged with finding those answers.
Yes,
correct.
I would think that, and I'm dying to hear Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz answer Congressman DeSantis' questions. I don't think it's going to happen. I think she is a witness in the criminal prosecution of her former employee, and the FBI probably doesn't want her testifying about it until after that trial is over.
Last point, just come back to this. DeSantis says, how were our systems compromised?
That's the question that, listen, Congress can ask this of Mrs. Wasserman Schultz in an ethics investigation of her, which is done in private, where she won't have to be telling the public what she knows about the employee. But I think that Congressman DeSantis is right. He's got his hands on the tip of the iceberg. He doesn't know how big that iceberg is or how deep it goes.
Meaning there could be others who were taking information, either selling it or compromising the private work of members of Congress. That's a big deal.
Correct. We also don't know exactly what was sold and to whom it was sold and whether or not it contained classified materials.
Well, meaning that any state actor or bad player could be involved in trying. They would have a financial and political incentive to get that information.
Correct. So look for an indictment soon to see if the government can flip this fellow. That is, in return for a lesser sentence than the one he would normally get, can he tell who else knew about this? Did any members of Congress know about it? Who were the foreign agents to whom this was sold, and what did they get?
Very interesting. And this may not be specific to this case, but try and answer it. Imran Awan is his name, right? He did not get out of the country. How is it that the feds move at the last possible moment to pull him off an airplane or prevent him from getting on an airplane?
I would imagine that his name came up on a TSA list and they literally ran to an airport before the flight took off, because once the flight took off, there's not much they can do. So this does happen at the last minute. And fortunately,
that or they're trying to close loops while he's still in the country, and they've been tracking him for some time.
I'm going to guess that he knew that they were on his case because he was in the midst of trying to sell real estate when he decided it was better for him to get to Pakistan than to collect the money on the real estate. Now he'll have neither.
Thank you, Judge.
Welcome.
Nice to see you, sir.
Pleasure, Bill.
All right.